Weekly. I am LRM nOoNe, and with me is Lmaster.
What's up?
Now this show is going to be focused on analysis of replays, specifically to help Lmaster. Now this does not mean we'll be doing purely Lmaster replays or purely Protoss replays. It's going to be general knowledge for everyone. I am a B rank max Zerg player, though I'm not currently an active player. I'm a manager for LRM. And Lmaster is a D+ Protoss trying to hit the yellow ranks. So this is going to be from everyone from D- to B. You know, there's going to be something here for you. Yeah, I hope you take something from it.
Yeah, so I guess I'm ready to start looking at games whatever you are.
Okay.
I'll let you host since I do not have that ability.
Is there anyone you want to do in particular?
There's one. Let me see. I forget which one it was called though. Start one, and then I'll find the one for sure that I want to look at. Just because I was like really confused about how the timings of this build worked out.
All right, no one won.
All right. As you can see, I have no anti-hack, so I'm going to map hack, just so you know.
Okay.
And some of
How
these,
do you feel about PvZ?
I feel like I don't have a freaking clue what I'm doing. Like, I sort of have an opening build, but beyond that, like, I don't have a clue. Other than, like, a few basic things, like, I feel like I generally know, like, when I can get cannons, and I know how to react if I see, like, 3-hatch Hydra or 3-hatch Sling all in. But other than that, like, if it's 4-hatch Hydra, if it's 5-hatch, I don't know how to tell if he's going to be aggressive with it, what to do against turtles. Like, I basically just don't know what I'm doing.
Okay. How do you like to open?
I've been playing around with either the 2-gate speed zeal or a 3-gate speed zeal build is usually what I do. And then I've been kind of doing the Neo Bisu build going into the Corsairs.
2-gate speed zeal on one base or two?
On two. Always Forge FE.
Okay. Alright, got it. So
In
you have a
fact,
game plan, that's good.
I'm not sure I've ever done one base play like in the history of my Brood War career, unless I like random into a Zerg.
I'll talk about one base play later. It's perfectly viable. People dismiss it for some reason, but it's good. Nothing wrong with it.
And some of these games, honestly, don't remember if they were good, bad, or what, because for some reason I can never find Zergs on the ladder, and it makes me really sad because I really like EVZ, but I don't know how. I like never
Actually,
hit them.
that's true. I don't play many ZVZ either. I get a lot of Protosses, actually.
So,
Okay, so I just want to talk about what Zerg is doing scouting pattern-wise. This is a trick that is not too common, but I definitely like it. You send your first Overlord right to the bridge, and if you see the probe early, that means he's going to block your hatchery, so you open pool first. If you don't see a probe, you go 12-hatch. The problem with this is that you don't scout the middle, so if he's going like proxy 2-gate, you kind of just die immediately. Which is why I stopped doing it. And also, if you see the probe, you know which direction he's coming from, so you don't need to drone scout.
alright, hopefully that adjusted the screen. Some people were saying the screen was a bit too large. I think I just redrew it, and it should be okay. I love this spot where I am because it's so easy to make a nice wall.
Yeah, Fighting Spirit is actually horrifically positionally imbalanced. The top right and the bottom left are far superior to top left and bottom right, just because you can make a SimCity with a tiny hole. You can actually make a less than a hex opening if you place the pylon on the far right and go forge left and gateway in the center.
And that hole is so weird because you can block it with like one zealot, but a dragoon can come down at two, just like a ramp. It's kind of nice.
It depends on the wall. Like, if you do the one that's Protosses and Pro League have been doing recently, then dragoons can't fit,
Okay.
but zealots can. And you're not doing it this game, but I'll show an example later on.
Yeah, I'm gonna go forge on the left and gateway on the right, basically.
Yeah, and if you do the wall I'm talking about, you can actually open Nexus first versus Overpool, like before Forge.
Well, that's really nice. Okay.
Completely broken. I hate it. Okay, this I don't like. I don't like this one bit. You don't double scout? Oh, I guess you do.
Yeah,
You do double scout. Okay.
I like doing that just because I can find the. I think I just like syncing it up so both probes get at the same time. So I was waiting for half a second. But yeah, I just like doing that so I can see faster what they're doing and then react if I get the chance to.
Okay, this guy, I don't like this opening. Like, the point of putting the Overlord to the bridge is to be able to 12 hatch. And he's not doing it. I think he 12 pulled.
Yeah, he might have.
Don't like it. Don't like it. Might have been an 11 pull, actually. That's what I do. I always 11 pull.
Why 11? Just out of curiosity.
Because it looks like an overpull, so people will respond to it as if it's an overpull, and the economy is
much better, yeah.
A little bit better. Also, I like the timings more, because like if you go hatch first with the overpull, you get like 2 lings, then you don't have money for more lings, so you get 2 more lings, and you don't have money to make 2 more.
Okay.
So it's like 2, 2, 2.
Gotcha.
With 11 pull, it's all 6 at once.
Yeah, okay, there you go. You got 2 pairs. Although I don't know if you went 12 or 11. Yeah, and I think I responded to it like it was overpull.
Okay. If you see an overpull and you're not doing the imbalanced next first wall, you can go Forge, then you go probes until 13, stop probe production, make a Nexus, make a cannon, then resume probe production.
Oh, I've never been doing stopping a probe production. Okay, I will add that in.
Stop at 13.
Okay.
The other thing is if you see 2 or 4 Zerglings, you only want 1 cannon, but if you see 6 or more, you want 2.
Yeah, I generally try to do that.
Another small thing, the cannon on the left, you would prefer to put it on the right, just because if he's doing a Ling run-by, you can block the ramp, and the cannon will cover the ramp.
Alright, that's a good point.
Yep. Things to think about. Okay, nice wall. I like this wall.
Yeah, that's what I usually do. It's easy, and it works.
Although a little bit dangerous, because you only have 1 cannon versus 6. And even if you have 2 probes is still a little bit dangerous, because you can just attack them and run in.
Okay.
It's not going for it.
Because I was always taught you go Forge, Nexus, or Cannon, Forge, Cannon, Nexus, then the second gate, and then the Cannon. But maybe this Cannon's late because I didn't do any probe cuts.
It really depends. Like, some Pronouses prefer to go Forge, Nexus, Cannon, Gate, Cannon, and they'll pull, like, 4 probes to block. But, you know, I kind of dislike it. The timings seem a little bit off to me.
Okay. And real quick,
either work.
Real quick before you leave, Cardinal, how long will it go for? I don't know. Probably however long we want to go. I don't know if no one has a set time in mind. And the VODs will be uploaded to both YouTube and my channel, so you'll be able to find them there as well.
Sounds good. Okay, another thing, you're getting this second pylon, you don't need to do that. You can just rely on the Nexus for supply.
Okay.
Because your goal as a Forge expander is to get your core up as soon as possible. Core and gas, I should say.
Alright.
So extraneous stuff like this pylon, you want to cut those out as soon as possible, because that's actually a huge detriment to your play.
Alright. I definitely did not know that.
Alright, so you have a little bit of the cheese going on from Zerg. Now, recently there's been this trend of, like, 3-hatch Hydra into economy, and I actually really like it, although it's kind of tricky to pull off. I know Michael likes this sort of thing a lot. Basically, you get, like, somewhere between 2 to 6 Hydralisks with range. You go up to his wall and you knock down the Forge and the Gateway. and Protoss freaks out, builds like 8 cannons, but you stop at 6 Hydras and go full drone production. The problem with this is if Protoss does not like completely freak out and he adds on gateways like he's supposed to, you can get overrun pretty easily. So if you're low level, like you don't have the game sense to know what's going on, I would say don't even bother with it. But it's definitely something you can play around with. Okay. As a Protoss player, whenever you see Zerg is completely pulled back like this, just preventing scouting in his natural, you should be super, super suspicious, because this is like 99% of the time he's 3-edge hydraing you.
Yeah.
It's like such a priority for them.
And I also sent out another probe because I think I was a little suspicious.
Yeah. Another telltale sign is if they get a sunk. If they get a sunk, that's just screaming, I'm fusing you.
Yeah, yeah.
So watch out for that sort of thing. Like a Zerg that's not freaking out about not being scouted will have his lings outside of Protoss's natural and just blocking them as they come out. Yeah. So that's the difference. Be wary.
And although it isn't an issue in this game, I know one thing, I think it was you that told me about, that was really helpful was having 2 zealots and then poking to get a probe out if you need to.
Yeah. Like if there's 8 Zerglings outside of your wall and you have 2 zealots, you just go out and attack and run the probe by. Nice and easy thing to do. Another thing that actually I got from Combat X is you take 2 probes and you go in 2 different directions.
Yeah, I've been known to do that.
Yeah, that's also another trick you can do. It's also another trick you can do, yeah.
Just because if you don't scout and you have to like prepare for like 3 or 4 different all-ins, like if you don't know if it's going to be Muta or Hydra because you haven't seen gases or anything, it's kind of stupid if you build like 10 cannons and have like cannons in the middles and cannons at the front. And you're just like, oh.
Yeah, it's not a good spot to play from. You want to know what Zerg is doing. Which is also why you want to get that core up as soon as possible. That way you can get the Corsair to see what's going on. Okay, did you go into his natural with the probe?
I'm not sure if I did.
Because that's like the #1 priority.
Yeah, I don't think I did because I didn't see any of this coming out, and I don't think so far I'm not reacting. And it looks like he is doing dedicated 5-hatch or dedicated 3-hatch. I don't see drones coming. Well, now I know.
Yeah, okay. When this is happening, you want to be able to tell if the Zerg is committing to it or if he's doing the economy follow-up, like I said. And the way to do this is to have your Corsair patrol around his bases and see if he's making drones or Hydras. It's really important that you do that. Like, really, really, really important. Because that's what happens when Protoss is like, oh, we 3-edge Hydra'd me, but I still lost. I held it off, but I still lost. Zerg and balance, Q. Because he droned up behind it, and you want to look out for that sort of thing. And if he is droning up behind it, you don't want to over-cannon. Instead, you want to add on a bunch of gateways and pressure him. Now, as a Zerg player, the rule of thumb I use, as long as the numbers are not really low, like, you want to keep your Hydra 1-to-1 with his cannons if you want to bust him. So, like, excluding 2 Hydras, like 2 and lower doesn't really count. If you have 3 Hydras and he has 2 cannons, go bust him. If you have 4 Hydras and he has 3 cannons, go bust him. Like that sort of thing.
Wow, really? Four Hydras can kill 3 cannons?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I did not
And the
know
other
that.
thing is you can reinforce faster than he can reproduce the cannons.
That's true.
So if you can keep trading off your Hydras, it's really good. The other thing is if you kill the Forge and he forgets to rebuild it, that's GG.
In fact, we saw the reinforcing thing in the Soul Key versus it was on Ground Zero, I think. Soul Key versus some other Protoss shuttle.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good example of that. You just run in, pick off a cannon, retreat, pick off another cannon.
Yep. So if you're above 1-to-1, you should go for it and just keep reinforcing, and you will be able to kill it.
Although in his issue, he's not gotten rid of the wall yet.
Yeah, you need to get rid of the wall so you have access.
So, now here's another issue. I'm getting to the point where I'll probably be safe against this if I don't mess up, but I don't know how to respond afterwards. I mean, obviously I'm pretty far ahead, but sometimes, I don't know, I just don't know what to do. Like, what the best response is. Do I add gateways and try to do damage to him? Do I go take a third? You know, what kind of play do you do after you hold this off?
I think all low-level Protosses should learn to do a 2-base, 8-gate attack. It's incredibly strong. Basically, you stay on 2 bases, you get Storm, you add on a bunch more gateways until you have 8 in total, and you push out around 110 food. And it's incredibly strong. Really, really, really strong way to play. And then you take a third behind the attack.
And does this one coincide with the +2 weapons?
Not
Or
sure.
not necessarily? Okay.
It kind of depends how you open.
Alright.
But when I'm playing Protoss, that's the build I go most of the time. 2-base, 8-gate. And usually that's timing when lurkers will be morphing, depending on his build. It's either as they're morphing or right before, unless they do lurker first.
Okay.
That's the timing it is exploiting.
Do you get any Dragoons with that, or are you coming out with pure Zealot Templar?
Yes. People underrate Dragoons. Dragoons are the muscle of the Protoss army. Like, you want to think, I know this is extreme. I know this is very extreme. You want to think of Dragoons in PvZ like tanks in PvP. I know that's wild. I know that's... Just trust me. Make a lot of Dragoons. Until the late game. Once he gets Hive up, they're not as good.
That's pretty annoying when they just swarm you.
But at Lair Tech, Dragoons are, like, good. Get Dragoons. Like, make 30 Dragoons. I'm not joking. Because if you're really Zealot heavy, it's easy to deal with. You just have a bunch of lurkers. Now, how do you deal with a bunch of goons? You don't really. My dog's about to freak out, I think. Hold on.
Alright. Yeah, he has to go deal with his dog, who's about to freak out.
Alright, I'm back. I kicked him out. Okay. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought.
Oh yeah, he paused the replay, PK.
Yeah. Replays. Oh yeah, and your first priority, unless he has, like, no cannons when you get there, if he has a bunch of cannons, you want to kill the wall first. Now back up, kill the wall, or not.
Yeah, he definitely can kill the wall now.
Okay, but in your position, you want to be remaking that forge, like, right now, because he will kill it.
Let's see if
Any
I
good Zerg will kill it.
see if I did. I don't know if I did or not.
Did not. And the other thing you want to be doing is trying to make DTs to run them around. Like, if you can sneak one out, you can just win games stupidly like that.
Okay.
Like, I know when I Hydra Bust, if a DT gets out, I'm dead.
Gotcha.
But Zerg's better than I will not let that happen. So, it's something you should try to do, but you shouldn't revolve around that working.
Oh, if you're getting, like, I guess here's the with transition. If you're 3 Hatch Hydra, they're doing that. You see that, and you know initially you had planned to go, you know, let's say the usual +1 speed zeal. Do you just go ahead and stop at 1 gate and throw down the archives? What do you think is the best timing for that? As opposed to when you like go for storm as fast as you can, or how do you prioritize that?
again, it kind of depends on what he's doing. If he's like going mass Hydra trying to kill you, you just want to make sure your cannonball stays alive, and you want to get Storm. And then you want to transition into something like just go A-gate. When in doubt, go A-gate on 2 bases.
Okay.
If he's droning up, you want to be able to put on pressure a little bit more quickly. So if you can do like a 3-gate Speed Zell plus Templar, that'd be good.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Actually, no, there is a slight echo.
There is an echo? Okay.
That's so weird how it like bounces forth between echo and not echo.
That's alright. Is this better?
Yes. Definitely is.
Okay, now you see Zerg is droning up, you have the Corsair, you see that happening. That means you try to put aggression back on the Zerg. Actually, you might be able to bust this.
Yeah. And there's a few zealots there, but he has quite a few hydras.
Now, I don't really like pulling the probes. I would just... Oh, right, because you lost your forge. Like, if you need to pull probes, just don't. Instead, make cannons.
Okay.
Like, as a last resort, then you can go ahead and do it. But, like in this case, you're not... I just don't like it.
Yeah.
Like, add cannons instead, because you get... It's better. Probes die, like, immediately. If the Hydras are in low numbers, like 6 or less, then it's kinda more okay, but in this situation, definitely not. Okay, I want to talk about a concept with Zerg tech. When Zerg goes a bunch of Hydras and Protoss is pinned back, that allows him to drone, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now once he starts droning, he's in danger again, because Protoss has a composition that will deal with Hydralisks. So as a Zerg player, you want to create scenarios that will allow you to make more drones. For example, doing a Hydra bust, that lets you make drones. Going mutas, because he has to deal with the mutas, you can make drones. Making lurkers, if you make lurkers, he needs to add more dragoons, you can make drones. And that's actually one of the big flaws with my build, the 5-hatch no gas build, because I just kind of go mass Hydra for a pretty long time, and then I make lurkers. I don't really give myself a window to drone up, again, like in the late game, so it's somewhat of a problem for me. But in this situation, if you're the Zerg, you definitely want to be creating those situations for yourself. Muta switch, lurker switch, that sort of thing. Okay, this is good. I like 6 gates. If you have 6 gates, you will have enough money to take a third, and you can still be aggressive. I like that. Alright, I'm gonna ×2 it.
Go for it. If I remember correctly, I think I end up winning this one, but I don't remember for sure.
Oh, and I love that this Corsair is still checking out what's up. That's really good. Definitely good. You see the Spire starting, so you know there's still no mutas for quite some time.
Wait, did he
Really
make...
good. Like,
Never mind. He was morphing his lair in one spot and then moved it to another. Oh well.
now in this situation, you have 2 options. You can go kill him, or you can go expand. Either is completely fine. But if you opt to go kill him, make sure you're expanding behind it. By the way, that is actually the best time to expand. Whenever you're doing an attack, the Zerg's resources are going to be tied up, not dying. So if you send something like 2 zealots and a probe to your third, they're a good Zerg will have a few Zerglings there just to check out when it's happening, but the Zealots killed a few Zerglings and then you're fine. Whereas if this army just moved out to take a third, Zerg's full attention is going to be killing that third. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And this is applied all the time. Like, Protosses love to go for a 2-gate speed Zealot into a fast third, and it's really strong.
Yeah, this is now not as good of a time, but I guess I just felt like I still had a big enough army that I could take it.
Well, it's a good time, just I would have liked it a little bit earlier.
During the attack, so he's preoccupied.
Yeah, while he's in danger of dying. I don't really like your unit composition. I would like more Dragoons. I love Dragoons. Dragoons are awesome. Make more of them.
I think I just started making them, but yeah. Where this really gets unfortunate is when he suddenly goes to Lurkers, and I wasn't ready for it, and I've got all these Zealots and Templar, and he just like walks around with Lurkers, and I'm like, oh, shit.
Right, and then he can drone.
Oh yeah, and he made Mutas too. Okay.
Now, if you're using Mutas for this purpose, then that does not allow you to drone. Because they're gonna die, like, it's kind of too late for the Muta switch to force him to do anything. But earlier Mutas that pin him back allow you to make drones. Okay, Templar at the third, I like it. This base getting up, I don't like it. You should have a Zealot or a Dark Templar patrolling these 3 bases in the top left just to check for bases, and a Zealot or a Dark Templar in the bottom 3 bases for expansion. Because you can just lose games stupidly like that. Like, Zerg gets an expansion up, he didn't know about it. Oh, yeah. Crap, I guess I lose.
Yeah, especially if he gets it up with Lurkers and stuff, and then he can't break it, and you're just like, oh, yeah. Shit.
So always be checking for hidden expansions. I personally love taking hidden expansions. Okay, another thing, you only have 1 forge going. I prefer 2 or 3. I don't mind 3 forges.
That's something I really have to work on in PvZ. My upgrades border from mediocre to terribly bad, and that doesn't work out so well.
Okay, and another thing is you're attacking, so what should you be doing?
Oh, can I go ahead and expand again?
Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead and take another base. Whenever you're attacking, that is a great time to expand. Yep, and you're expanding. Cool. Good. Great. Awesome.
I think at this point, Zerg is fairly dead. Yeah.
Yep.
But I don't know, that game, I feel like as late as I scouted those Hydras, I feel like he should have been able to just bust me, but maybe he was a little tentative. I don't know.
Well, you don't need to bust, but if you make that many, that's kind of a bigger commitment.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the other replay you want to watch?
I'm gonna double check the name of it here. I believe it's the Elmaster P and then Avon Z one.
Okay.
Hopefully I'm right about this. We're ready when you are.
Okay. Where was this played?
I think this is a random game on Game Ranger, but this guy's okay.
Okay, Game Ranger.
So there's like a couple people on there that I know that sometimes like want me to like come and practice with them.
Yeah, because I see G.
Because they're like,
I know
they're like clueless about the game.
Because I know you can't make 1-letter accounts on IC
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Oh wow, this Zerg is also doing the Bridge Scout. Cool. Yeah, I don't see it that much, but I definitely like it. As long as you do it properly, not like the last guy.
What are you supposed to do differently?
Well, he did the Bridge Scout, then went 12 pool. That's
Okay.
completely contradicting.
Oh yeah, I've never done Gate first. Justin saying, or PK saying, Justin teach Elmaster about the gate first.
I don't know
PvZ.
too much about gate first. Like, assuming he's talking about gate expand.
Yeah, on bottom left and top
I don't
right.
know that much about it. It's fairly new, so I'll ask Kid Cannon about it, because that's like all he does.
Yeah, gate first.
Yeah. Okay, so this guy did it properly. Awesome. Now, when you see him 12 hatch, cannon rush.
Really?
Yeah.
Never
You
actually-
see 12 hatch, you should cannon rush. Especially if they don't have an overlord and they're natural. Cannon rush.
Okay.
Because if it works, you win the game immediately.
Yeah, that's true.
If you make the pylon and they pull like 5 drones to kill it, you just cancel the pylon, then you lost all that mining time, and you have Nexus up. Yippee.
Yeah, that's a good point. Fair point.
But yeah, make sure that you should make a pylon wall in his natural, like behind the minerals, so drones cannot get at it. Make sure the cannon is in range of the hatchery. It's always good. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to, but I personally cannon rush every 12 hatch, assuming I don't scout them first. If I scout them first, I'll just go Nexus first.
Mm-hmm.
If I scout them second and I already have the Forge, I will cannon rush every time, even if they have an Overlord and they're natural, because then they'll pull drones.
And
I'll
just
just cancel the pylon, and I'll be ahead that way.
Okay.
Again, you don't need to. You do not need to. It's just what I do. Preference.
But yeah, if you can get them to just pull drones, even if you're not intending to do it, just making that pylon, see if they react.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Scares Zergs, because if it goes up, they lose.
And I don't actually know what skill this Zerg is, because people on IC Cup or on Game Ranger love to say stupid shit. He claims to be B+, but obviously I doubt it.
B+?
Yeah, he claims to. I don't really put any stock in Game Ranger claims though. Played a guy that like claimed to be A-, and I beat him pretty easily, and his pushing was shit. He pushed like 2 minutes with a 4-fact, like 2 minutes after my Nexus was done, and banked like 2k while doing it. I was like, B+, huh?
Yeah, well, seeing how this guy's third base is like a minute late, I'm gonna question that B+ a little bit. Okay, so he's doing something a little bit non-standard.
And if this is the game I'm thinking of, I don't know, he totally has like a shit ton more stuff out when I expect.
Is he doing my build? What is this?
He put down that 4th hatchery really fast. He put it down on like 17 food.
Is he doing my build?
No,
No,
he's got a
not.
gas. He's got a gas.
He's kind of doing it. He's got a 5th hatch.
Lumir saying, Justin, you only need 2 drones to hold it off, presumably referring to the pylon.
Yeah, that's still fine, because let me respond to this. When you pull the 2 drones, let's think about how much money you lose. It's 16 minerals per 8 seconds. And when you make that pylon to cancel it, you lose a flat 25 minerals. So, do the math.
That's a good point.
Works out in your favor either way. As long as you get the Nexus up, don't forget to make the Nexus. Make the Nexus before you do anything. If this guy is trying to do my build, he's butchering it. So don't copy this. This is not how you do 5 hatch no gas.
He's got a gas, so he's got a second gas too.
It's kinda right. It's kinda right. Kinda not right. Alright, anyway. When you see that they are not going 3-hatch Spire, you do not need to make a Stargate. It is up to you if you can get the scouting done anyway, or you know what they're doing. You don't need to make it. Like, playing versus my build, it's actually a mistake to get the Stargate. Because it doesn't really serve any purpose. You can scout what I'm doing anyway, because I don't get link speed. I have a Hydrogen, I don't have a Lair, so I'm only going to be making Hydralisks.
What if the player wants to get a Stargate to, say, abuse the fact that you'll only have slow Overlords and no Scourge?
That's good. That's good. I like that. If you make Overlords to... Well, if you're trying to do it so you can take a base, I like it. Like, if you open Sayer to kill the Overlord at your third, and then use DTs to take a really fast third, I like that. Using them just to harass Zerg, I don't like so much because any good Zerg will be able to hold that off with ease.
Okay.
But to expand, I definitely like that. That's two thumbs up.
And I guess where he, I knew what he did seemed a little different, but like if you look right now, he's got like 40 food and basically just the link, so he's got a reasonable-ish drone count, and he's gonna have like way more Hydras when I come out at the normal timing, and it just totally, I think, ends up just rolling me. But
right,
I didn't know why.
What he's doing, right?
Yeah, but remember, I don't know what I scout means barely.
Okay.
So.
Okay. It's hard to explain.
Like basically, I was just curious like how this works out because I'm gonna come out. I'm pretty sure at the normal timing, and he's already gonna be like ready with like a control group plus of Hydras and like a bunch more soon to come. Like I couldn't figure out if it's because he made the hatches faster. I mean, he made that fourth hatch on like 17 food, which is a pretty fast fourth hatch. And I don't know when he had the fifth.
I mean, if you see the gas is late, that means, I mean, 99% of the time that's going to mean Hydralisks. I know Kuryu likes to go like 4-hatch Lurker and 4-hatch Muta. I'd say if you're unsure about what Zerg is doing, then go Corsair. If you can pin Zerg on a build, then you don't need to go Corsair. Like in this case, because you're not sure, I would say go Corsair. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But like if you're playing versus me and you know exactly what's going on, in that case you do not need to make a Corsair.
Okay.
But in this case, yeah, go ahead and make the Corsair if you're not 100% sure. So if you get there, and you see the lair is not done, he has 5 hatches up, he has an Evo chamber, and you see a high drone count, and the droning is already complete, that means the unit production cycle is going to be starting soon. And based on when that starts, will dictate what you need to do.
Okay.
So if it starts and he just makes a few to fend off the Corsairs, and then he takes a quick 4th base, like in that example, you can just go ahead and take a fast 3rd yourself. If he's going mass Hydra, you can stay on 2 base, go 6 gate, push out and expand behind that. That's fine. You can stay on 2 base, go 8 gate, expand a little bit earlier, but you have more aggression.
Yeah.
So you kind of need to base it on what he's doing. And if you want to get really fancy, like if you see the metas are late, that means that you can do like speed zealot shenanigans. That's fine. It also usually means they don't get link speed, so you can do some like 5-gate goon shenanigans.
Does the 5-gate goon fare well against just Hydras?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hydras, I mean, goons with range destroy Hydras in low numbers. Like once the numbers get a little bit higher, and it's like 40 Hydras, Dragoons don't do so well without
Storm support?
Templar and Zealot support. But in low numbers, yeah, Dragoons are really, really good.
PK is saying, Elmaster, I think you should scout with your probe and harass with the first 3 zealots.
Yeah, that's a good point. But if you're not sure what he's doing, I don't really like that. I guess you've seen the low link count. Okay, let me say my whole thoughts on this issue.
Go for it.
If you don't see what Zerg is doing, you're completely in the dark. You should not pressure with zealots. The idea is that you see what Zerg is doing, and he only has like 6 Zerglings or whatever, so you push out with your 3 Zealots, and he's forced to make extra Zerglings. Maybe you'll scare him into making a sunk. Basically, you make him not make drones. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now the issue with this is if you're in the dark and you push out and he's already made those Zerglings or Hydralisks or whatever, you lose those Zealots and then you die immediately.
And PK saying, yeah, that's why I said he should scout with his probe to check the link count.
Yeah. Yes, right. Good. What PK said. Okay, anything else?
I think we're good.
Alright, let's go. Oh, I guess I'm in charge. I control the replay.
Yes, indeed. The advantages of being the host. Yeah, it's pretty funny when you play people on Game Ranger. Like, there's been, especially against like noob Zergs, like I'll scout with the probe the whole time, and then they'll be like, "What the fuck? Why are you doing that? I'm just gonna come kill you." And then they come to kill me, and I've got like, my base and like, an expansion and like 8 zealots, and they're like, "What the fuck?"
Yep. Oh, I like this move. I like this move. I like this move. Okay, you went bottom right to see that there's no hatch there. I like that. Good. Awesome. Great. I like that very much.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you saw a hatch there, how would you deviate?
Bottom right. Oh. See, that's where I don't know.
Okay.
Like
If
my
there
knowledge
is a
isn't much
hatch
of-
there, if there is a hatch there, that means his production is delayed. So you can take a faster third because he won't have the units up in time to kill it.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Good. Awesome. And that's just things you learn over time.
Yeah.
To set those triggers. And you should do that like in all of your play. Like, let's assume you're playing. I know Berserk better. Okay, let me give a Zerg example. In ZVP, let's say you drone scout, and you see that he is one basing. How would a Zerg deviate? Well, if you see one base, that means it's unsafe to put your third hatch at a third base. That is a deviation. You should set these things up in your head beforehand. Another example, if you open 3-hatch Spire into 5-hatch Hydra, and you see Protoss is going 2 Stargate Sair, you can deviate in your build, stop all Sair production, just go mass Hydra, and you can go kill him. That sort of thing. It's like, you see something, you change something in your play. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me try to think of another example. In PvT, you see Terran has one guy on gas after factory. What does that mean? He's going siege expand. Although that's kind of outdated because everyone's going
Yeah. No one ever does that
max
to me.
expand these days. But that means you can just expo off 1 or 2 Dragoons. Like, these things you should have set up in your play. They're really important. Learn deviations.
And I guess here's where, for me, it got confusing is, like, right now is the standard timing for the +1 stuff, and he's already got, like, a shit ton of hydras on the field.
Right, okay.
And I could not figure out, like, why. Like, because normally if you come out, they might just be starting to make a few hydras, if anything, and I come out and it's like, oh, there's already an army here.
Okay. You're copying, like, some pro gamers build, right?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay. Pro gamer builds are tailored to kill 3-hatch Spire builds. So when the Zerg does not do a 3-hatch Spire build, it will not work.
Okay.
So you need to, again, deviations in your play.
Alright.
Busy is spamming me. Hold on. I should put D&D on too, but he's like, ah.
Yeah. He's new LRM, right?
He is a new recruit to LRM. I'm very happy about that.
That's what I thought.
Stole him from Pain. Like I stole Dragon.
Oh, Dragon was in pain? I guess it...
Yep, Dragon was in Pain. I was like, hey Dragon, you like winning clan wars, right? Why don't you come join LRM? Because like none of his team was showing up at the time.
Oh, that's gotta be frustrating. Man, I miss the days when God used to stream.
Yeah, that guy was really good. Okay, anyway. So if you see he's not doing 3-hatch Spire, you need to immediately change your game plan, because this will just die outright.
And obviously I've scouted a decent bit to know what's coming, so what would be a more proper adjustment if I see Hydros production going and no
Storm.
3-hatch Spire? Just go for Stormfast?
Storm, yep. You want Storm as soon as possible. Because like this and this build, you really delay Storm, so you're screwed.
Yeah, and I think I think I pretty much do roll over and die.
Yeah. Like, this happens to me all the time. When I do my build, 3-hatch no gas, and people try to, like, do the Neobisu build, where they go 2-gate Speed Zell plus, like, 6+1 Sairs, they die immediately, because they don't get Storm.
Yeah.
So, Hydras equals Storm. The other thing is, if you can get them early... Actually, I'm not even going to go into that. Yeah. Scratch that. Don't even worry about that. That's too complicated. Okay, so you push out and you see a bunch of Hydras. Just throw down cannons.
Yeah, that's probably what I should have done. I was just kind of like, no, I was just kind of like, what the hell? How is there like this much stuff?
Yeah.
Because I mean, this is the
Like-
normal timing. It's just like, what the hell? And there's so many more like rallied down.
Right, and that's because you didn't deviate in your play to address his play. But the other thing is that if it's in this situation, you're not completely screwed, because a lot of Zerg players will say, like, if he's doing this build, I will go kill him, and that's the end. I will all-in him, and it's done. But if you just set up like a cannon wall and defend, you can storm up, and you get your 8 gateways running, you can you can treat it as if it was a 3-hatch Hydra.
Okay.
They're going like massively all-in about it. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Because I do that sometimes. Like, I played versus Joe Kim the other day,
Yeah.
and I had a huge build order advantage versus him, but he just got up like 10 cannons. I'm like, fuck it, man, my build kills his, right? Just make Hydras and win. And I attacked, all my Hydras died, and he just counterattacked and rolled over me.
Ah. I don't know why I attacked here. That probably wasn't the best.
Well, you can attack to get, like, additional time.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
I play,
So I was trying to buy time.
Zuzua's build, the Sockway. He goes 2-gate speed zone off 1 Corsair, and he delays his nat gas. So he has like, but he gets the 2nd gate really early, so he has like 16 Zealots. If I see the other guys 3-edge Hydraing me, I just attack with the Zealots will die, but it allows me to get up cannons in my natural.
Gotcha.
So yeah, in that situation, I don't mind just sacking Zealots into Hydralisks. In this case, he's just bust you, like, whatever.
Yeah, I think that's what he
Oh,
does.
screw you, Silessa.
Oh no,
Screw
actually,
you.
I think he decides not to bust, and I think he goes ahead and drops me, which accomplishes the same purpose.
Yeah, I guess, like, when you're in this situation, just sack an Overlord to see what's up. Because a lot of the times, if you see that they're doing this build, the storm will not be up in time, so you can just double check. That's fine. Drop is fine too, though. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just gonna export
Yeah.
using dead. I like that you're scouting with the Sarahs. You should always do that to see what's going on.
And I believe once drop finishes, he just drops me. Since I added all those cannons at the front, it was like, yeah.
Dude, I hate when observers do this shit.
Yeah, I know. And then,
Okay, this is just when I play in ops games and observers do this, I want to BM them so badly.
and these guys are complete noobs too, so they don't have any idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
PK saying, I think El Master should be thinking of
Just
drops once
squelch.
Overlord speed is done and he's contained.
Just squelch PK. Actually, you know what? Let me talk about that. When Protoss is on 2 bases, drops suck. Because let's think about this, like, in terms of area to defend. You're on 2 bases, there's like 2 spots that can be dropped, right? Now, if you're on 3 bases, now there's 3 places that can be dropped. If you're on 4 bases, now there's 4 places that can be dropped, 5 bases, 5 places that can be dropped. So the longer the game goes and the more bases that each player has, the stronger drops get. The exception to this rule is if you get it, like, really fast. Like, Zergs in Pro League recently have been going 3-hatch Hydra straight into drop, and that's okay. I don't mind that. I think that's pretty good. But, like, if it's a normal game and you contain them and they're on 2 bases, don't freaking drop them. Because what's going to happen is a good Protoss player will just kill all your shit, and then they'll bust out, and then you're dead. So don't do it. More bases equal better drops. Okay. Maybe one more replay?
Sure.
Alright, which one do you want to do?
I think we can go for any of them. Let's see, I'm trying to think of which games where it's been a while since I've, like, hit consistent Zergs on a ladder. See if I can remember which ones are which. Maybe the game against Sniper, the one that says Sniper Z, because I tried to do the 8 gate, and part of it is some really shitty micro, but I was just curious to know if I'm doing that build right and how my everything, like timings and stuff for that are, like if I'm coming out at the right time and stuff.
Alright. 110 food is the magic number. But yeah, to give credit to what PK said, if you see overspeed like fairly fast, you should expect drops.
Yeah.
But if you're Zerg, don't drop Protoss when he's on 2 bases. Don't do it.
PK says he has to complain about drops. Even if Protoss has 2 bases, lurker drops are just, and some start out chat. Yeah, especially if you don't have obs out and they lurker drop you.
have obs out by that point. There should always be obs out by that point.
Yeah, what is proper obs timing? Because I never know exactly when to get the robo. How many gates?
Depends on your build. If you're going like for a super fast third and you don't plan on attacking into Zerg territory, like you're just hiding behind cannons, you can delay it till your third base is done.
Okay.
But the quote-unquote normal timing is after, I believe, 5 gates. I believe it's 5. 5
Okay.
sounds right.
Alright.
Also depends on his build. Like versus my build, you can delay it because my lurkers are a little bit later than normal. If they're skipping lurkers entirely, like that 6 hatch 4 base mutiling straight into ultra, you can delay it, or even skip it entirely. That's fine.
So,
I'm amazed that we've had 3 Zergs in a row that have done the bridge scouting pattern.
that's a good. Yeah, I didn't even notice it. Yeah. Okay.
That's like absolutely mind-blowing to me.
Is that just to check if the probe is going to be like a little bitch and deny the hatch, and then you can go take it? If it's
Yeah,
not?
yeah, like you send it to the bridge, so if the probe is there early, you open overpool. If the probe is not there, you open 12 hatch.
The chat
And
is.
if-
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
If the probe is there, you see which direction it's coming from, so you don't need to drone scout either.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes good sense. Yeah. And the chat has devolved into a circle jerk about how gay lurker drops are. So the consensus is nobody likes lurker drops, which probably means if you're Zerg, do them because they annoy people.
And that's a good point. If something is annoying, it's probably good. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Why are you making a cannon? Ah, gross, nasty. Ah, cancel that. Good. Now again, you should cannon rush.
Yeah, I definitely might play around with that. At the very least, adding the pylon, seeing if he pulls. If he doesn't pull, I might just add the cannons just to be like, well.
Okay, if they're doing this nonsense, 3 hatch before pool, absolutely cannon rush. You can actually there are 2 things you can do. You can cannon rush, or you can like proxy 2 gateways. Both are absolutely fine.
Where's the third hatch at? Or is it gonna be? Oh, it's gonna be at the far base.
Oh,
okay.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, I thought that Overlord at the 12 o'clock was about to be...
There's a drone over here, but I don't know if he's
Oh,
gonna
yeah, there
go.
is. Maybe he's just bad and forgot to make his pool.
Allegedly, Slugger told me Sniper was C+, so I don't know.
Okay, yeah, screw this stuff. Just go kill him. Proxy 2 gateways, proxy 3 gateways, cannon rushes, whatever you want. What Zerg is supposed to do is they're supposed to put a drone on the ramps the probe can't get up to see that it's 3 hatch before pool. Because if Protoss sees it, you can just kill it.
Yeah, just because there's nothing to defend it. It's so far away.
Yeah,
That makes
just
sense.
go kill him.
Okay, yeah. And if he pulls drones halfway across the map. Yeah, that makes sense to cannon rush that.
Cannon rush or proxy gate it. Both is completely fine.
Can you do like a reactionary proxy gate against it?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So I can just build like a pylon up there and like a gateway, and just walk some zealots down.
Yeah, just like leave his base, go to the center, and build 3 gateways. Go kill him.
Oh, okay. All right, gotcha. No negates
You might not be
versus
able to support 3 actually. Maybe it might be 2. I can't remember.
3 should. I mean,
I haven't experienced.
you can 4 gate.
Yeah, I guess you should be.
And especially just zealots. All right, the sound just got really weird for me. You sounded like no, it's normal. Never mind. You sounded really distant there for a sec.
Busy says, tell him to cannon rush. Already did. Okay. Good, good, good.
Don't ask me why I added that cannon. I don't think I needed to.
Yeah, actually, let me talk about that for a little bit. If you have the probe in his base, in this situation, maybe not, just because he has 3 bases so quickly, so he can make lings where you can't see them. But if you get a probe in Zerg's base, and you're keeping an eye on his larva, and he only has, like, well, he has no lings, you don't need to make a cannon, just wait until they pop. The other thing is, if they go overpool and they make, like, 6 Zerglings, and you see that 5 Zerglings are chasing your probe, and only 1 is going to your base, you do not need to make that second cannon until you see the Zerglings leave.
Yeah, makes sense.
I know it's kind of like this is difficult to practice, just because if you screw up, you die.
Yeah, that's true.
But when I play Protoss, and they just chase my probe the whole time, I don't make cannons until they leave.
Yeah.
Now, as a Zerg player, if you're playing ZVP and you open pool first, what does this mean? This means that your first Zerglings should go directly to Protoss's natural, because it forces them to make those cannons.
Yeah, it is always pretty funny when a Zerg like opens like, you know, overpool or God forbid like 9 pool speed and then just chases my probe with all 6 of their Zerglings.
Yeah, yeah. Do not do that if you're Zerg. Do not do that. Send your lings to the Protoss main. Send 1 Zergling. Keep 1 Zergling attacking the probe. Rest go to Protoss's natural. And then you can kill him if he gets greedy. Okay, I see you hiding a probe here. Let me just, because this reminds me. If you're Protoss and you're playing versus 9 full speed, you should immediately, like the second you see the 9 full speed, you should send out another probe and hide it. And then when your first probe dies, wait a little bit, then send your second guy into Zerg's natural, or Zerg's main, and you can see if he is Hydra busting you. That is the most common follow-up to 9 full.
Yeah, that one. I get that one a lot.
And the reason is because when they have speed, you will not get probes out. So you just have to hide one at a time. Alright, Dragon is telling me proxying 3 gateways is going to be too late. I question you, Dragon. I say we should test this after. Alright, so after this game, we're going to test this, Dragon.
Alright.
That way we shall know. And that's actually a very important skill. If you ever have a discrepancy over something, don't fight about it. Just test it. Just test it, man. It's no problem. Like, if I say, versus overpull, you can cut a probe and make a cannon and you'll be fine. And some guy's like, no, you're wrong, you're gonna die. Just test it. Just test it.
Yeah, that's really works.
Happy. Everyone's very happy.
So if I keep my probe alive till first Corsair comes out, can I just go kill the overlords near my base if I want to?
Yes, and you should.
Okay.
Like, the purpose of going directly to Zerg's main to see what's up is because you're in the dark. If you're not in the dark, just go ahead and harass.
Okay.
Okay, and this is important. You see, he's going for the for fast fourth base. You need to scout that so you can respond properly.
Now, if you're 2 base, 8 gate, if that's your game plan, can you still do that against the fast fourth base? And if so, do you change the timings of it at all, or how do you play in that situation?
Yes, because if they're going for fast hive tech, you need to kill them before defilers get out.
Okay.
Because that's actually the thing that Zergs who are going for the fast fourth base will rush for, is defilers.
Yeah.
If they go lurker, like if they're going 4 base mass lurker sunk, then I don't really like busting that. I prefer if you just stay back and double expand yourself.
Okay.
But if they're not going lurker, I would say go ahead and try to bust it.
Double expand is in go to 4 bases?
Yep.
Okay.
And then, like, because they can't move out of their base for a long time, because lurkers are not very good at salt units.
Yeah, that's true. They tend to clump pretty horrifically.
Yep.
It always kind of cracks me up when Zergs like try to like do an offensive attack with like lurker ling, and you just storm all the shit and it dies.
Yeah. So to go into more detail, you should just patrol between his 2 chokes, because if you do that, it freaks him out. So he needs to make maximum defense at both places. Whereas if you just pressure one spot and you're just pounding away at it, he can skimp on the other base, which you don't want.
Yeah, that's a lot of times what I'll try to do is I'll poke in at one base and then hop over to the other and try to catch like stray units. So I try to remember to do that.
The other thing I like to do against a fast 4-basing player is to go for fast DT drop into 8-gate, because it, first of all, it flows very nicely. The DT tech into drop, into the observer, into the 8 gateways, into the attack. And second of all, a lot of Zergs will not anti-DT their main or their fourth. So you get a lot of free ones that way. And if you don't get a free one, it's fine, because you have the 8 gate follow-up coming. But yeah, versus a 4-base, you need to respond at kind of extremes, like go kill him or go expand like crazy.
So if you're doing against 4-base, would the 110 supply still be the money timing to go for, or not?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Not completely. If anything, maybe even earlier. Maybe even earlier, yeah. I mean, like, if you get there and you see he has sufficient defense, don't waste your shit.
Yeah.
Pull back, reinforce, and then go.
And I think I make that mistake in this game, but we'll see.
Yeah, because your army strength grows exponentially as it gets bigger. That's something to keep in mind.
Because I think I see the one just morphing, and I try to go for this, and then he like maybe even blocks me from getting out, or me just pop or something happens. Because I see there's only one, so I want to go for it, but I like overcommit. Or it's me just pop, and then I try to leave, but I can't really get back out.
Okay, another thing you can do is, in this situation, keep half of your zealots there and send the other half to the top right base.
Okay.
Because they're doing damage either way, and you can't easily be in 2 places at once. So it's guaranteed to do damage. Yeah, like keep 3 of these Zerglings in his natural, taking sunk fire, it's fine. And then send 3 to the top right.
Gotcha.
And also it's harder on his multitask.
Yeah.
So that also makes it harder to
I also
deal with.
completely failed at killing drones here. It's pretty depressing.
Also, I'm not sure why, but your probe count, I guess it's alright. Your natural seems a little bit undersaturated for the time, because you also need to take into account that when you transfer to your third, you're going to be losing a bunch of probes in your main and natural.
Yeah.
So you should be oversaturated to make up for that. Yeah, just imagine DT top right with like 6 Corsairs to kill the Overlords. That base would be dead.
Yeah, that'd be pretty obnoxious. I don't know if morphing those 2 Archons was like a ridiculous over-response, but...
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely an overreaction.
Would 1 be appropriate, or would you just say go ahead and stick with the Corsair since I already had the 6?
If you see he's not going for the +1 Carapace, which actually just now finished, I'd say Corsairs are fine, but +1 Corsairs versus +1 Scourge. Okay, like if their upgrades are both 0, it's actually better than if they are both +1 upgrade. Like Corsairs do worse
Okay.
with +1 versus Scourge that are +1 than if the Corsairs were +0 and the Scourge were +0. So in that case, I would get the Archon. But if you see he's staying in low numbers like that, you don't really need to. Like Corsairs are fine at dealing with it.
Alright.
And also, you need to base it on your Corsair control. Like if you're notorious for losing all of your Corsairs to a bunch of Scourge, then get the Archon.
I have trouble with it. Like, let's say he's going for the the Muta Corsair attack, and he's using the Mutas to kill the cannons and the Corsairs and to absorb the fire. How do you try to micro that? Do you know?
In your base,
Yeah.
you want to hotkey the cannon and manually attack the Scourge.
Okay, and then just run the
Scourge.
Corsairs.
Run around with your Corsairs until all the Scourge are dead. Yeah.
And I really need to stack my Corsairs too with the probe so that he can't easily clone.
Yep, that's good too. If you're in like open and you have a Muta Scourge versus Corsair battle, you want to pull back and try to get them in the line. Like
Yeah,
if they're
okay.
surrounding you, just run back until they clump up and then fight.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tend not to hotkey the Corsairs with a probe trap because then it doesn't center on the Corsairs when I double tap the hotkey, which feels really awkward. But
yeah,
it's better to do, especially for dealing with not getting mass scourged.
He is not upgrading properly. His Zerg upgrade should be much better by now. Oh, your +2 is very late. Oh my god, that's very late. Okay. Did you just forget?
Probably.
Yeah, that's nice.
Had to guess.
Okay. Another thing is, you don't need this many Templar. Maybe like 4. 4 is good. Instead, you want to be setting your gas to Dragoons.
Okay. How soon do you recommend starting Dragoon production? Like 1 round of Dragoons before you move out? Like how many Dragoons are you looking to have before you move out if you're going to move out at that? Because obviously I'm 110 right now and I don't have
as many as possible. That's what I'd say, as many as possible. It's going to be limited by your gas.
Okay.
I mean, like, if you can get 20, that's great. If you get 30, that's even better.
So you're saying almost more Dragoons than Zealots when you move out?
Yes.
Okay.
You should have some, but you don't want, like, a huge amount.
Alright.
And all of the extra minerals go into Zealot production. But this unit composition looks a little bit weak to me if he gets Lurkers. Incredibly weak to me if he gets Lurkers.
Yeah, against Lurkers it will not work. So, basically, if I understand it right, I should have moved out a long time ago?
Well, your unit composition is, like, way out of whack.
Yeah, that might be part of the problem, because this tends to be pretty typical PvZ type unit composition for me.
Yeah, it's just, it's not right. There's not enough Dragoons. And also the probes are feeding into the the food count, because usually it'd be much earlier, so you have less probes.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, now you're getting the goons in there, it's looking a little bit more scary.
But
yeah, as many goons as possible.
And then this attack is just bad. Like, a group of Templar like go up by themselves, and I think I lose at least 5 storms for nothing. So I fail pretty bad in this attack. But I was just curious to know if when I need to come out and like how to adjust the composition and like what I want. But this attack is really bad.
Versus Laratech Dragoons, like lots of Dragoons. Versus Hive-Tech Archons, Reavers, and Zealots are your friend. High Templar.
So what about that Hive Tech where they don't go Ultras? Ultras I'm comfortable with, but if they just stick with, you know, Ling, Lurker, Hydra, Swarm shit. Because then, like, Zealot Archon, but Lurkers are kind of a problem.
Well, the issue with that composition is, like, what the Ultras do is it allows you to attack. Because they soak up the damage, and then you just go.
Okay.
If they don't get the Ultralisks, it's not a very, like, meaty composition for the late game. Like, it's hard for the Zerg player to do attacks, I guess is what I want to say. So you can expand much easier, you can push Zerg back easier.
Okay.
But the advantage is that he's much more defended, obviously.
And then let's talk just briefly about late game in general. Let's say you make it to that point, you've got 3 or 4 bases up, you kind of can do whatever. What are your goals? What are you trying to do? Like, how do you decide if you want to attack Zerg? Are you just trying to prevent bases while taking more of your own? What are your goals?
If it gets into that, like, stalemate situation, you just want to split the map with +1 in your favor. Ideally +1. If you can split it evenly, you can do it Terran style, where you just starve Zerg out, because your units are more cost effective than his, and that's fine too. But ideally you want to split it with +1.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you have bottom 3 base, or the bottom 6 bases, I guess, like, the 3 bases you have, the 3 bases from the bottom left main, and you secure the middle, then you're good. You're all set. If you have your 6 bases but Zerg gets the center, that's kind of iffy. You need to play like defensive style, just starve Zerg out.
Yeah.
But usually what happens in late game, like before, like how late game? How late game are you talking?
I guess let's even talk. You know, you do an attack, you don't really kill Zerg, you don't really gain a huge advantage, but you go ahead and get your 3rd up. What are you looking to do from there?
Okay, if you
That's
get
not
your
really
3rd up,
super
you are
late game,
looking to do a big attack while taking bases behind it.
Okay.
I guess it also depends on how fast you get your 3rd up. Like, if you get it and your main and your natural are about to be mined out, your priority is to get a 4th base, like, immediately.
Okay.
But if you get it before then, you want to do a big attack on either their natural or their 3rd, and you want to be either expanding or double expanding behind it.
Okay.
And then you enter the late game with Reavers and Archons.
And if they're playing the, you know, Lurker Sunk Spore Turtle, can you just go ahead and do that attack, not really commit, and just go ahead and use that attack as the screen to get the 4th?
Well, you just don't attack at all. You
Okay.
just expand.
Okay, can you
That's,
just expand with your army sitting back at home?
yeah, because if he's committing to that much defense, by attacking, you're doing exactly what he wants. Like, his build
That's a
is
good point.
designed to not die.
That's a good point.
But again, his build is also very weak at attacking.
Yeah.
How do you exploit that? You expand. And you also keep them pinned back. Usually the goal is to take 4 or 5 bases yourself and prevent him from taking a 5th, which can be kind of hard, but that's the goal.
So, like, if you're trying to prevent Zerg from taking a 5th, this situation where you can see he's got the 4, what if he wants to take the 12 o'clock base? Like, I feel like that's going to be, like, a difficult position to try to prevent him from getting, because if you move in there, A, you can get pinchered from both sides, and it's just, like, on the high ground, he's connected to it, you can easily get units up there. Like, how would you try to defend
Well, you just
that?
want to keep controlling your army.
Okay.
I know Kid Cannon's actually very good at this. He just keeps moving his army around, and whenever Zerg tries to take a base, he just, like, let's assume he takes 12.
Yeah.
He will keep a clump of units outside of the bridge at Zerg's third,
Okay.
and the rest of his army will just go up and kill it.
Gotcha.
Yep. And then usually, if he's coming from one angle, he's very susceptible to storm. And it's very cost ineffective for Zerg, so
That's
they will
true.
try to avoid that. But if it does get up, and like Swarm and Lurkers are up there, don't waste your units.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you get to that point where Zerg gets his 5th, you've got your 4th, just kind of like get ready to hunker up and play for late game war of attrition kind of thing?
Yep.
Alright.
Yep. That's when you start putting Archons and Reavers into your unit composition. Skew away from Dragoons, because Dragoons suck against Swarm, obviously. Name of the game is just denying his bases through, like, you should have a DT at all of his bases at this point.
I don't think I ever make DTs. I need to play around with that. They're probably good for securing extra expansions too. Because a lot of times Zergs don't bring overlords. Like when they go to deny an expansion, they usually or often don't bring an overlord with them.
Yeah. Another thing you want to be doing at this point is you want to be doing storm drops with speed shovels.
Yeah, I need to use that more.
Just because when it gets to that point, there's like so much area that Zerg needs to defend. They're much more effective.
Yeah.
And also the bases tend to be more saturated at that point, so they do more damage.
Makes sense.
Alright, anything else you think of?
Think that's good for now.
Zerg has the worst upgrades on the planet. Holy crap.
Mine could be worse. Actually, no, he's got 0-0 with his Lings and 0-0 with his Hydras. He has upgrades?
He has no upgrades.
Yeah. I was gonna say. But unfortunately that attack, obviously, because I lost so many storms for nothing, just gets mauled.
Yeah. I mean, your build was kind of too middle of the road. Like, it was... You're doing an attack, but you're expanding behind it kind of slowly. Like, versus a 6-hatch 4-base, you want to be at either end of the spectrum. You want to be super aggressive, pounding his front door down, or you want to be pushed back, taking a third.
Okay.
And you want to take that third fast, because eventually that early mineral deficit will catch up to him, so he will have to defend that third, or deny your third.
Yeah.
So there's like a window you need to exploit.
And I guess the other question I want to ask about is sometimes it feels like maybe this is just me not having good timings and everything, but like I'll go to take a fast third base, and then I'll feel like I'll just get lurker contained because I take that third base fast, and I don't have any units to like stop him from bringing down lurkers and setting up a contain. And then
So
when I
what
try
if
to
you
get out,
and
I don't know, it just feels like maybe I'm just bad at that too, but it's just like it feels hard to break like if he's got a lurker contain across the bridge here.
Okay. If he does not have swarm, you should be able to break any lurker contain. I don't care how strong it is, you should be able to break it. And the way you do that is you have Dragoons in front, you have Templar behind your Dragoons, and Zealots are in the back. Zealots are not doing anything.
Yeah.
And what happens is your Dragoons attack the lurkers, and as Hydralisks and Zerglings come in to kill your Dragoons, you storm them. The other thing is you should get Observer Sight Range upgrade, because the other key thing that Zerg should be doing in that situation is sniping your observers. If you don't want that to happen.
Yeah,
so
it's not fun.
You get Observer Sight Range before speed. It's very important.
Okay. Yeah, I just need to
You should
practice
be
more
able to-
against that too.
Yeah, you should be able to bust any lurker contain that does not have swarm easily. You just need to practice it.
Okay.
And a lot of Zergs will actually overcommit to their contain, so if you bust it and you just go attack their natural, they're dead.
Yeah, I've noticed that. There's been a couple games where I have done that and been able to do that.
That's very, very, very common. Alright, anything else?
I think that's about all for me. Any other questions from chat? Any burning
We're going to be playing a
desires?
test game with Dragon, by the way. We're going to be testing this
Yeah.
proxy gate. It's 3-hatch before pool.
So if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them in chat and we will try to answer them. Or at least no one will try to answer them. And I will follow you guys to your test game. nOoNe, you mentioned you discuss one base play a little bit. I'm starting to one base more often with a later expo, and I'm enjoying it. Is that something you can talk about, or is it better for another episode?
Sure, I can talk about that. Well, how are you opening your one base play? Because there are, I think, 3 ways to do it.
By 3 ways, you mean opening builds like 2-gate?
Yeah,
as in
there's like 3
fast
ways you
Stargate?
can secure an expansion. And there are some ways you can do it that are completely wrong that you should never do ever.
Alright, let's see. Ways I'm thinking of that I know about is 2-gate. I've seen the Corsair build, the fast Corsair, and then I don't know if there's a way to secure a natural, but I've seen
Oh, I'm not even thinking
occasionally.
2 I'm thinking completely about 1-gate tech.
And I've also seen, although I don't know if this is securing expansion or not, I've occasionally seen people do like a nOoNe Reaver, like almost PvP
Okay,
style.
2-gate Reaver versus Zerg. Okay, that's acceptable. Basically what you want to do is you want to get that Reaver as fast as possible safely, and then do harass so he's pinned back, and while you're doing that harass, you get your cannons and you set your expansion up. The problem is Protosses will not know when to pull back, and either their Reaver will be out of position, or that will die to the Hydras or something like that, and then they immediately die to a counterattack. That's no good. You need to be very careful that you have scouting on where Zerg's army is, and that you don't lose your Reavers like an idiot. Because if you mess up on either of those two, you just lose the game immediately.
Yeah, that's very true.
The way I do it most of the time is I go Serdi T expand, which is where on one base you get your Stargate up. The Stargate, or the Corsair, comes out and kills all of the Overlords around your base. It goes to harass at Zerg's base. You get a Forge and DTs. Because he has no Overlords around your base, the DT fends off all the Hydralisks and Zergling all in you. And then you eventually get up a bunch of cannons to defend, cannons and storm to defend for when OV speed is done.
So I focus on Reaver harass more than a goon attack.
You can do a Gun Reaver attack, just most of those tend to be do or die, so to say.
And as a Zerg, if you think the Protoss is going to go 2-base Goon Reaver and he's trying to do the attack, what unit composition do you want to get? Because I actually had someone ask me this recently too.
2-base or 1-base?
I'm assuming it's a 1-base Goon Reaver Zerg on
1-base
2-base.
Reaver, there are 2 ways to deal with it. The first way is you go for mutas and you make a bunch of sunks in your natural. You make a bunch of a few Hydras, like maybe 6, just so he can't fly shuttle into your main, kill your drones, and you're screwed. But just like 4 to 6 Hydralisks, and then you go straight for lair, you get the mutas up, and then you kill it with mutiling. That's one way to do it, and you hide behind sunks to buy you time. The other way you can do it is you say screw tech, you stay on hatchery tech, and you get a bunch of Hydralisks up, and when the attack comes, you flank it.
Okay, yeah.
The other way you can do it is stand on hatchery tech. You do the same thing except you get burrow, and the shuttle tends to lag behind in the Protoss army, so you just unburrow, snipe it. That's it.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, if you're doing that sort of thing and you intend to expand behind it, just don't lose the Reaver, because the Reaver is what keeps you alive. Anything else?
And if they have more questions, I'll just relay them to you in game if you are able to focus on them.
Yeah, I can do that.
Game name and password.
nOoNe won.
Oh, I'm gonna need to get. Do you want me to get anti-hack?
Nah, it's fine, whatever.
Alright.
It's gonna be Gang and Zerg, or Protoss. Alex, if you're listening, please join the game.